What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Combat Sports Media YouTube channel. And boy, do we got a great fight on our hands right now. But before I go any further, please like and subscribe, especially if you already haven't done so. And I'm going to be consistent with pumping out great content on a weekly basis. But in this video, we're going to be talking about a fight that's going to take place on UFC 274. On May 7th, Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona, between two legends of the sport, two veterans, Joe Lauzon and Donal Cerrone. Joe Lauzon 28-16, Cerrone 36-16. Let's start with Joe Lauzon first. Joe Lauzon, he's in some ways a pioneer of the sport. He was around when the sport was just beginning to really take off. In 2005, 2006, he's got a legendary win, a great knockout win over a legend and UFC Hall of Famer and former 155-pound champion in Jens Pulver. Knocked him out in the first round in great fashion. At the time, Jens Pulver was already a legend. Mac Danzig, also he's got a great win over Mac Danzig in 2013, I believe. Got win over Michael Keys, a fantastic win over an older Diego Sanchez about 5 years ago. Finished him in one round, I believe it was. As far as the style is concerned, Joe Lauzon is a very complete fighter. He's got great hands, great punching power. He's extremely aggressive. He is known to blitz people and attempt to get them out ASAP, and he has done so many times against great fighters. We just mentioned Diego Sanchez, who he did that to. So if he can get you out of there in 3 seconds, he is. He's been in the octagon with everybody, including guys like Clay Guida, Jorge Masvidal. We mentioned guys like Jens Pulver, who some of you probably don't even know who he is. Lauzon's about 5'10" in height, 71.3 inch reach according to the UFC statistics, 37 years of age. Hasn't been too active in recent years. I think he hasn't been doing too hot as of late, to be honest with you. I'm a big fan of Joe Lauzon, always have been fond of him as a fighter, but he's definitely seemed to be on the decline as of late. But he did win his last fight, but that was all the way back in 2019, I believe. It's already been a while since he last fought, and before that fight, he was not looking good, and he was coming off, I believe, 3 defeats. However, that's nothing new to him. He's overcome defeat many times, losing 8-0 to Joe Lauzon. It doesn't really affect his psyche at all, but he is 37 years of age. But going back to the style of fighting, great boxing for MMA, extremely aggressive fighter, great punching power, and he's got a great ground game as well. Very versatile, very complete fighter. Joe Lauzon is an underrated fighter. Again, have always been fond of him. He'll get you out of there in 30 seconds if he can. If not, he's down for the long haul. Again, good jiu-jitsu and good boxing. He's got a very versatile fighter. A good ground game, and he's got good hands. He's got both plenty of submissions and plenty of knockouts. But his biggest wins are knockouts. They're knockouts. Going back to the Jens Pulver first round knockout, the Diego Sanchez fight, that just blitzed him with punches. That's my favorite version of Joe Lauzon, when he just blitzes you fast with punches and gets you out of there, forces a referee stoppage, or knocks you the fuck out. That's my favorite version of Joe. Now, let's move on to Donald Cerrone. Now, Mr. Cerrone, he's a fan favorite. Again, record of 36-16. He's 6'1" in height, 73-inch reach, according to UFC stats. He's 38 years of age. So, age-wise, they're relatively the same. They're both older fighters. Even though Lauzon, I believe, has been in the UFC a lot longer, because I don't remember Cerrone fighting in 05, 06 in the UFC. I don't remember that. I could be wrong, but I don't remember him. I certainly do remember Joe Lauzon, though. So, Donald Cerrone, he himself hasn't been too hot as of late. I believe he may even actually be coming off of a 4 or 5 fight losing streak. The last time I saw him fight was against, I may have seen him fight afterwards, but the Conor McGregor fight comes to mind, and I just can't help but that fight just can't leave my head when it pertains to Donald Cerrone. I mean, after putting on a pathetic performance like that, how could anybody believe in you as a fighter, unless if you come back with a great fashion and show the world that was just a fluke. But that has not happened. Donald Cerrone has not been impressive since that fight. I've heard nothing but bad things regarding Donald Cerrone since the Conor McGregor fight. He's been just losing and losing and losing. And, style-wise, you could categorize him as a Muay Thai guy. He likes to strike, and he was never talented or quote-unquote athletic. However, he was gritty, tough, and big for the weight class. However, he was always able to take punishment pretty well, but that's no longer the case. So one of his main attributes, which is his grittiness and his ability to take punches and strikes, is no longer there. He is soft as a cookie now. It's not hard to put a dent in his armor these days. He's 38. He's been in a lot of wars. He's had a long career, and it's starting to show. Against a guy like Joe Lauzon, that's not good. Because Joe Lauzon has fast hands and he's got real punching power. And punching power doesn't really leave you. It's one, at 37 years of age, you got your punching power, But at 38, 37 years of age, you may not have your punch resistance, or at least the resistance that you had at one point in time. So I believe the circumstances are favoring Lauzon. But again, part of the reason why this is such a juicy matchup is because you don't know what to expect, because Joe Lauzon has not been active. I could tell you all day and night that Cerrone has been not looking good and has been doing nothing but losing for the past few years, but at least he's been fighting. Joe Lauzon hasn't really been fighting. His last fight, I believe, was in 2019. Yes, he did win. He looked very impressive. I believe won in one round, actually, again, another quick blitz. But he's been inactive since then. That's 2.5 years, 3 years inactive. So it's tough to call, but I'm gonna go with Joe Lauzon because I've been a lot more higher. I've always been high on Joe Lauzon as a fighter. I've never ever been high on Donal Cerrone as a fighter. I respect him as a fighter. Obviously, he's been in some fun fights, but I never looked at him as a talented fighter or a guy with any unique abilities or world class abilities. Just a big, tough guy, durable guy with a lot of heart, but that durability is not there anymore. And Joe Lauzon, last I checked, definitely still has his punching power, and still has his zest and his aggressiveness. So I'm favoring Joe Lauzon. I think he's going to win, and I think he's going to win by some sort of stoppage. It may be a knockout, it may be a TKO, it might even be a submission. He's got a few of those as well. So, but I think it's going to be a TKO win probably, or a KO win for Joe Lauzon. But it's an interesting fight, and it's definitely going to be a fun one while it lasts. So there you have it, folks. Oh, and by the way, this will be taking place, I believe, in the lightweight division, which will also favor Joe Lauzon because he's always fought at 155. Donal Cerrone, as of late, I know the Conor fight was at 70. He has a lot of fights at 170, and I believe that is also going to favor Joe Lauzon in the weight class. At this point in his career, I believe Cerrone should be fighting higher than 155. So again, there you have it, folks. Thank you for tuning in, and y'all have a good one. See you guys soon.